Welcome to the Empower Hour. I am one of your hosts, Hanifa,
And I am the other Al Kumar.
and we are here each and every Thursday at 6 p.m. discussing just taboo topics that affects the community. And it's no different today. Today we will be discussing the aftermath of
The war.
the war between the black man and the black woman.
Yes.
What are the consequences of that? What is left behind after the war is over? And so we encourage you, if you're tuning in, to please, the lines will be open
Please
today.
call us.
Please call
We
in,
need your
or
help today.
you can also send a comment if you want to say something, or you want to give us feedback, or you have a question that you want us to tackle. Just put your comment, because we're watching on the live as well, so we can see you guys. Or you could actually call in if you want your actual voice to be heard. That's fine with us as well. We encourage that. So hey, Alkama,
Hey, Hanifa.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm okay.
Good, good,
Yes.
good. The war between black men and women. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said war. I didn't know there was a war. So
Did we exaggerate?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because I kind of went down the statistics about how, in 2020, so many of our relationships are more so than not come to a bitter end, early on, and how many single parenting that's going on currently, and the divorce rate, and, the things we see. So I don't,
Is the divorce rate? I think is the divorce rate increasing?
very much so. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, let's talk about it.
Let's
Let's
talk
figure
about
out what's
it.
going on with us and what we could actually do to start to fix it, because we know the family is the nucleus of the community, and if the family is breaks down, there goes your community.
There it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
There it is. I agree. So, yeah.
So let's talk about the problem. Let's begin by talking. What is the problem? What is the problem? Because when I was writing down some of my points, I'm like, we have to first identify what the problem is. If we can,
Mm-hmm.
we should attempt to identify what the problem is. And of course, all of us are going to have different things that we see. I really believe there is not one, but there are many, many factors that contributes to that gap, that ever-growing gap, or division between black men and black women.
I agree.
But what are some of the things that you think are the problems?
That's a good question. I think we are overly emotional about the least little things. And so small things that normally tend to just get overlooked
Yes.
in normal circumstances turn into big brawls. Maybe that's one issue. That's the first thing that comes to my mind anyway.
Okay, so pretty much like focusing or over exaggerating like minuscule, really small things that could probably be dealt with immediately most of the time, or in a less aggressive manner maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns into full-fledged shouting matches, and then disrespect comes in, and
Mhm.
then you're hollering and screaming, and then sometimes it even becomes fist fights, and then
Unfortunately.
the vindictive, and now
Correct.
you trying to get back term, and
Yeah.
so that could be one.
I hear what you're saying, because I agree. There are some things, and that's why sometimes you have to look for advice outside of yourself, because
Yeah.
sometimes you are too close to the problem and you need insight from someone who's not so in the meat of it.
Yeah.
One of the other problems that I definitely would say is that we don't understand each other.
Absolutely.
We do not understand each other. We are not even attempt to, and I also think that, and when we do acknowledge our differences, we do not respect them.
Mm.
And I definitely would say more so us than men. And I think because when you're talking about the woman, you're talking about the creation, the person, the creator, right? Life comes from us, right?
Mhm.
And so we tend to have this tendency to try to nurture things into what we would like it to be. And so when there's a pushback, when there's a friction, how dare you push back? Because this is what we do as women. This is our essence, right? So I definitely think that we do acknowledge the differences, but I don't know that we respect it, right?
Yeah.
The fact that sometimes some men don't pay attention to details around like nurturing children and the way we do, right?
Yes. Yes.
Instead of us accepting that and saying, okay, this is how these people are wired, this is how this species is wired, we refuse to accept it, and then we're like, no, because if they have to do it,
Yeah.
then they do it. Because this is a conversation I had recently where it's like when we remove ourselves,
Yeah.
they do it. They do what they need to do. But at the end of the day, they're still not doing it as well as you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to
I do
say?
get
Like
what you're
as
trying to say.
well. Let me put it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I think a lot of our lack of understanding one another comes from not having a healthy example. A lot of us in seeing relationships form from beginning to end. When I say beginning, from our youth.
Yeah.
So we, a lot of us grow up without two-parent households.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't know what it looked like to have a happy, healthy relationship. So when we get into our own, like you said, we go into, not understanding the difference, the differences between the man and the woman. And so we're expecting the men to be other than men.
Yeah.
In a lot of instances to appease us, and vice versa.
We want them to have almost female qualities, but still occupy the male body.
Yeah.
We want you to have a penis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We do. That's important to us,
no
right?
doubt.
But we want to project our qualities, the things that make us women, onto you. You get what I'm saying?
And that falls under the lack of understanding.
Yeah.
The man.
Yes. And then on the other side too, men, you could say the same thing about men, where it's just like, at the end of the day, Alkama, when we come together as men and women, I feel like women, because we pay so much more attention to detail, we don't have to do as much studying as men has to do with women. When you join to a woman as a man, this is my opinion.
Okay.
I really think you should study that woman, because
Okay.
you cannot come with a general blueprint
Right.
and say, you get what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with us too, because you can't bring what you and Tom Ford had going on and how Tom Ford functioned and all of that. Now there are some general things as far as men are concerned.
Correct.
But you have to consider experiences, upbringing, all of those things factor in as well.
Love language.
Love language, trauma. Trauma,
Big
that's
one.
a big one, right? And so you have to consider all those things. But when we approach each other, we got to approach each other as individuals. Now, yes, there's a general thing to say, this is a man. I can't expect him to operate like me.
Yeah.
And same thing with men. I
Yeah.
can't expect this woman to operate like, because we're just not wired the same.
Yeah, and that again, you brought up a really good point in the onset, and I think we lack a lot of basic social skills.
Basic.
We
Like
just-
ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I mean, I really think this could possibly be part of the issue. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Some of the things that
You said social skills, right?
social skills, I mean,
Communication.
yes.
That's on my list. Communication.
Yes, and just how to, properly involve yourself in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Selflessly. Without it, you know what I'm saying, going into, well, this is what I'm looking for in a relationship.
Right.
They got to be A, B, C, D, and E, but not once do you consider, well, hold up, am I a proper fit for him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're looking for all the great qualities that'll appease you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what about what you bring into the table?
Right.
And I think I think that falls under improper social dynamics.
And you know what I also need that we need to understand, specifically as women, or even men, Not because someone is a good man means they're fit.
Oh gosh.
That is so
Teach
key.
on that one.
Yes,
Good
and not
point.
because a woman is a good woman means she's a good fit for you.
That is so
because
true.
we have a tendency to do that where, like and I'm guilty of it, where you could be talking to a friend and the person is like, yeah, but I don't know if I'm feeling them. You're like, but that's a good brother though. That's a good man though. You know what I mean? But are they a fit for your sister? Are they a fit for your brother? Because we tend to do that. And to me, that's actually almost a sign of desperation, where it's like a sign of like a thing of lack. And I know where that comes from in our community.
Right.
Because our men are like decreasing by the numbers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so when you do see a good man,
Yeah,
most
yeah,
people
yeah.
is like, you want to hold on to that, but it's like, do that person fit me though?
Right. Right.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
That's
'cause,
real.
Yeah.
That's real deal Holyfield. And I wonder how much of these new dynamics that we find ourselves living in play a role in our disconnect. Meaning the changes in how women are now more in the workforce. Women are, you know what I'm saying, they're making more money now in a lot of instances above the man. And, how these new dynamics play a role in the whole I don't need a man vibe that we hear a lot of these days coming from women.
Well, we live in what they say, we live in people say a man's world, but it's a patriarchal society. And what the patriarchal society has done is that it has forced us to become other, right? Women.
Yeah.
It has put us in a position where we're fighting just to have a place, right? We're fighting to be viewed as equal, but guess what patriarchy has done to men? It has made them complacent. And so even though the times are moving, and they're not, this is a general statement, a lot of them are having a hard time evolving with the times. For example, when you just explained, we are not our grandparents where we were sewing they were sewing their children's clothing. And no, we are going to the store and we're swiping our cards with the money that we just made at the job or the business that we have, and we're purchasing clothes for our children. We are not sewing them anymore.
True.
We are not staying in the home.
Cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And that is not to be, I don't even know if that's to be expected of someone who is also working a full-time job just like you.
I'm glad you brought that
So
up.
I actually believe that a lot of our men, the way that the shift is happening, and it's happening so quickly, I just think a lot of them are having a hard time catching up. You will not last in a relationship because, and I'm saying this to the brothers, you will not last in a relationship. You will be left if your mind cannot evolve with what's happening with the times as it pertains to women.
So I'm hearing you say the expectations of a man.
The expectations of women by some men, they're archaic. They are archaic. That was for another time.
Yeah.
It is not for 2020 forward. And if you still coming into relationship, now don't get me wrong, there are some sisters who are like,
I'll do it.
I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
But for the majority, and if
Yeah.
you see the shift that's happening as far as the feminine is concerned,
Yeah.
you got to pay attention to all of that. And if you don't evolve your mind, you will be left.
Because I would imagine that could bring about a whole lot of frustrations if you as a woman are working it's the same amount of hours as a man, you know what I'm saying? And you're bringing the same amount to the table as far as provisions for the household or what have you. You guys are split down the middle. Y'all working the same amount of time, you know what I'm saying? And there's children involved, but yet the man comes home and expects dinner to be still on the table, expects the children to be, taken care of and all that. It's like, well, wait a minute. Why? You know what I'm saying? Why does she have to do all these additional things on top of the things that you're doing as well?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And some men might not want to hear that out there, but I think the expectations from this modern woman is a bit much, and that could bring tension in the relationship.
It can bring tension, and that was one of the things that, since we identify what the problems are, we were saying we don't understand each other, and even when we acknowledge our differences, we don't respect them, right? So that was one of the two of the problems that we mentioned. But one of the causes we just talking about is upbringing. So upbringing goes both ways, because we talk a lot about single parents households.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about that, to where it's almost like people who come from single parents household are usually the ones that bring the drama to the relationship. And I will say this, there are people who come from two parent households. It boils down to what the dynamic of that household was. There are people who come from two parent households that were abusive house, very dysfunctional. And yeah, you had both parents, but now you come in with your toxic ways that you picked up from your mother or your father, and you bring it, because maybe your mother and your father, probably their form of communication was always yelling. That's how they communicate. That's how they problem solve. That's a two-parent household. You get what I'm trying to say? So I know that we like to focus on the whole set, and I get that part, but I think that it boils down to the dynamics of the household that you come from. And that's why when two people come together, these questions we have to ask each other.
Yeah.
What did your household look like?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it's a single parent or not, what did it look like? Let's talk about these things.
Let's talk. Family, let's talk. Give us a call. We want to hear your input. Chime in, 240-455-5934. What Hanif and I are attempting to do is break down this war. What is this war? What does it look like? The war between the black man and the black woman, the aftermath. After all the smoke clears out of the room, all the rubble has come down from the dynamite and stuff. What does that look like for our community?
Yeah.
And
make sure if you have any commentary or whatever, just put it in the comment section, because we're watching.
Yeah.
And so we want to make this a discussion between all of us.
Yes.
The other thing too, we talked about not evolving. The other thing, we talked about the men not evolving as far as the modern woman is concerned. The other thing that I realized too is that women refusing to accept their power. Okay, so we know what. I might get killed for this.
Because you hesitate.
We know. Yeah, I know. we know what. I want to say we know what is said to us. We know what religion says. We know what society has said, because America sees themselves as a Christian nation or whatever. Still, a lot of the stuff is still kind of rooted in religion. And so the man is the head of the household. And the issue that's happening today is that women are begging to differ. Okay, I'm sorry my accent came out just now. Women are begging to differ on that. Because it's like you're saying, when you really look at it, the women are running the home. If we want to be honest about it, yes. Okay? So what's happening is the women are running the home and they're burnt out and they're getting frustrated. Right? And so I tend to look at this a different way, right? Where it's like, okay, you're running the home, right? That's a lot of power. But because we've been told that men are supposed to be the head, women are saying, this is power I should not have. You get what I'm saying? So we're being frustrated because we're like, I'm not supposed to be heading this. You are. You get what I'm saying? And so and if you're dealing with men who don't know what men in homes show up as or what they look like.
What does that look like? When I hear you say when I hear you say the women are pushing back and saying I don't want this responsibility.
It's supposed to be you.
What is supposed to be their responsibility?
Well, so women tend to make decisions like as it pertains to the children. The head is the head. Like what you doing? You get what I'm saying? Women are the ones who are taking charge as far as finances in a lot of the homes. A lot. Yeah. Now, that might just be where we go back to the wiring. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's okay, because if you're in a relationship and somebody's stronger in one area, and that's why I'm so funny, even with gender roles, because I'm just like, whatever works for your household, sort of works, because what is your strength?
Right.
And what is my strength? And that is what we need to do.
Right.
So and now I'm saying this because I'm someone that I kind of toe the line as far as men being the head. I do. I toe the line. I don't fully embrace that. Okay. Not at all. I just think that today you might need to head, and next week it might fall on me.
I think it depends on the individuals. I think of Queen Nzinga who running the whole, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? She the head of the whole army of men. You know what I'm saying? So I think it depends on the individuals involved, because
Yes.
there really are some women who just were not sent here and built to be homebodies. It just weren't. You know?
Wait.
Huh?
Or wait on someone to do something for them.
Yeah.
They're just not built that
they
way.
just
Yes.
have this different makeup to where they, you know what I'm saying, their desires and their missions and purposes on this earth is a lot further than being the happy homemaker at home.
They
it's
should not
just
be
reality.
They should not be labeled as men. Or you want to be a man.
Right,
No.
right.
No,
That's just,
right.
That's just different. I'm thinking people in history. You think of people try to put Harriet Tubman behind the stove. You know what I'm saying? With children running around her feet. No, her purpose was something different than that. So I think that
if Queen Nzinga came from a single home, maybe that's why she was so masculine.
you silly.
No, I'm just saying, because that's what would be said today. But go ahead.
So I'm saying that there is different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
We can't, men shouldn't attempt to put every woman that they meet in the same category. Oh, she'll make a good, you know what I'm saying, homebody. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not the case. And there are some women out here that is their purpose, and they do it exceptionally well.
And that's who you need to link with.
And they do it exceptionally well.
That is who you need to hook up with.
Yeah.
Hook up with someone who fits what you are looking for.
Yeah.
The issue we are having is that we are looking at people's appearance, and he is fine as God knows what, and she got hips out of this world and a butt that, you know what I'm saying, you just can't not look at, you know? And then we take that and then we try to make it into what we wanted to. And that's the issue.
And there's the conflict.
That's the conflict.
Because people are going to, you know what I'm saying, you know, they're going to be who they are.
Thank you.
Period.
So that's another one of our problems, yes. And you mentioned communication. Do you have anything on communication? Because around communication, I have dishonesty on both ends. On both ends. Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about it.
Oh,
family.
whoa.
Oh, let me get somebody
Yeah.
a comment in though. I did see some comments before we go any further. Let me go back. Clyde Hill says, we are allowing the conditions to alter who we are, therefore not making the conditions subjective to our power. That is not on code with us who have knowledge of ourselves. Oh, so he's saying the actual current environment is shifting the natural makeup of who we are, and not the other way around. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
I'm still not sewing my kids' clothes, though, but go ahead. Sorry.
But then how do you...
I know what he's saying. I'm only kidding.
So in that case, Clyde, call us, 240-455-5934. So in that case, how do you... What's done in that instance? You know what I'm saying? So because
honestly, human nature is to evolve.
I was gonna say
To
that.
not evolve is
I was
to
gonna
die.
say that.
It's to die.
But are we evolving to a healthier place though?
No, that's the key. Because it doesn't mean that evolving means that you do it outside of your culture. And I'm talking African culture here, right?
Okay.
Because we believe in as far as the foundation of African culture is the collective, not the individual.
Right.
Okay, that is
Village.
Right, the village. Okay, now the society we find ourselves in, we're becoming more and more individualistic.
Yes.
Which speaks to what he's saying.
Yes.
So there's a way to still evolve as far as, you know what? In 2020, a man might want to cover all the bills in the home, but maybe at the time he's unable to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that means that if that woman can work and she's working, then the expectations that he may have of a cannot be the same for if she was a housewife.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say when I say you gotta evolve in your thinking.
Yeah.
Because you gotta figure out what works in these times, but it doesn't mean that you somehow abandon your culture. Is what I'm trying to say. There's a way to do that. It's balance. Yeah, but go ahead.
Let's get Ola's comment in. Let me get back to it.
Chris sent a little thing here.
Ola, to come. Oh, mine. Keep going. Give me a second. It keeps moving. It feels its ego on. I feel it's ego on both ends. Both don't try to. Men and women aren't the same. They're wired differently for a reason. However, we unite to become whole.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, again, we're hashing out why. What are these things that keeping us so separate from each other?
Chris have a question. She says, so a woman, and Chris is one of our engineers. So she asks, so are women who are called to do more than cook and clean destined to be alone because most men want a submissive woman versus a woman with a non-traditional purpose?
I think that depends on the man.
She's asking, so are they destined to be alone?
I don't think most men do that though. Do they?
What, want a submissive woman?
Want somebody to do it all. Want the woman to do all the things that we just described. Or is that like an exception to the rule?
Ask the brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Ask the brothers. We need to hear from the brothers on this one. Because I don't want to answer that. I don't know. I'm a woman.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Is that an exception to the rule? Are women bound to be single if they don't want to do all these things, this myriad of different things that the man is requesting? And what are the men doing while the women are doing all these myriad of different things?
What do you mean? Like, you mean as taking care of the home?
Yeah.
Well, technically, it's supposed to be the men are supposed to be. That's how it was, and that's how it still is in some cultures. The men are providing, and which we talk about all the time. I think what's happening even today is that women are now providing for themselves, and men are still stuck in the provider mode, and the woman is looking like, I need more than that from you because I can do this, I can do that for myself now. So what else are you bringing to the table? One of the things that I know for a fact, as far as black men are concerned, and I know this is a general statement again, is the emotional, just not being emotionally available. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, I'm doing this, I'm out working for us and all of these things, and she's like, but I cried alone last night.
None of that matters.
I needed you and you didn't show up. Yeah.
None of that matters.
But the mortgage is paid.
And none of that matters. Going back to your initial point, we don't understand each other.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't. And so the men, I read something that said Will Smith took a whole year off to get his relationship back in order. I said that's powerful.
Yeah,
that's powerful.
And my response to that was, if you ain't got Will Smith money, don't do it, cause you will be left. I know what you get. The point of it.
Decide in his mind.
He didn't have to.
That's what he had to do. And because as women, we need that. We need
assurance. Assurance is security.
Yeah.
Security, assurance, same thing to me.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? When a woman know that you got her.
Yeah.
And that the relationship is important to you.
Yeah.
Just as much as it is important to her. That is something.
And you're willing to make a sacrifice.
Yep.
To make this thing work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Question: Is it natural to be single?
I don't like you for this question.
What? Family. Is that like a natural thing?
Yes, answer, please.
Family
answer.
Is that like natural, or is it healthy? Is it like a balanced way to live, to just be in a single relationship?
I think that's an individual.
I mean, in a single.
Just single.
Just single.
I think it's an individual thing. I think some people are called to that life. I really believe that. Like, I can't really say. You know what I mean? However, if you're called to a single life and they're trying to hook up, that's going to become an issue for everybody in your space, because that is not what that's not really what is in your spirit, is what I'm trying to say. Just like men and women who, you know how I feel about polygamy slightly. You know what I mean? Okay. So there are people who they cannot do monogamy. But because of the pressures of society for whatever, they go into monogamous relationships and they're dishonest because they don't even really believe in monogamy. And those are the people who you see, they are with different people going in, and while they're in the marriage, they're still, this is where we were saying communication comes in. I need to really communication, honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty. But in order for honesty to happen, we need to kind of create spaces where we're not judging each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
somebody say, yo, I had this fetish or whatever it is, and it's like,
Okay.
okay, you're like, ew, you know, body language, all of that, you got to pay attention to that, because we kind of have to create spaces, you know. Create spaces. Yes, we do.
We do that.
Right, like, ew, who let you do that to them, you know? So I'm just saying, and if the person is not for you, it's okay.
Yeah.
We have to learn to let good looking people go
Mm.
when they don't fit us.
Mm. We're going to get to the caller. I want to make a mention here online real quick. My brother Luke Mar. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Luke.
Brother, we're from the same mother and
you.
father. He says, no, I don't want a submissive woman. I've been with my wife for 23 years. Hey, Juice, I love your wife. And we do everything 50-50. I want to learn from her and teach her, vice versa.
So there you go. It varies from individual to individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, caller.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get you up a little louder. Are you there? You can hear echo.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Brian. Calling out of Texas.
You're echoing. Right.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we got help coming. All right, turn down wherever you are. Turn down your microphone or your
The
computer.
yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's
Much better.
better.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm just, this is the conversation. And, you know, I'm trying to, figure out, you know, a lot of things, because I don't do a lot of your things, but I don't disagree either. But the things that's going on right now.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves. All participants are unmuted.
Okay, I am so sorry, brother, but
Hold on, what's next?
we having some issues with the phone line, and it's too complicated.
Yeah, caller, if that was you on the line, calling in, we apologize, but there was some issues. We couldn't really hear you.
Yeah, if you can type your
If you can
comment
type
on
your
the stream, we'll make sure you get it out.
Yeah.
Just let us know that was you calling.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Curtis says, I think it's natural, also known as normal, to be single. Your first healthy relationship has to be with yourself in order for you to be ready and mature enough to have a relationship with a significant other.
But I read it. I thought you was single like forever.
Yeah, forever.
Oh,
I mean, you know,
Right,
I get
forever.
that, Curtis. Good point.
Yes,
But
that's a
it's
good point. Yeah.
But once you do learn to, know yourself a little better
Right.
and all that kind of stuff, is it natural to go through your life being not in a relationship?
Do you think so?
I don't know.
No.
Well, let me say this. I don't think that it's natural order. I don't think it's a natural thing. I really don't.
Okay.
Because, if you look, what I'm saying, how do you reproduce? How do you, we just got finished talking about this. We can look at the dynamics of single family homes versus non-healthy, and the differences as when a child has a man and a woman together raising it, he or she. So I think it's a lot of it's a lot of benefits to being in a relationship, a healthy relationship. But if you don't have that, is it like something wrong with you not being in a relationship? Do you go through life like, oh, I'm a loser?
Oh no. I mean, if there are people who are single and they're happy, and I feel like there are people who can live a happy life and not be with someone else. I genuinely believe that. But
should you?
I mean, if that's what works for you, I don't want someone forced into be in something that's not even where their spirit is at. There are people who live like like nuns, for example, and that's probably not the best example, but you have people who go into those type of ministries, or because they feel called, they feel led into those environments. And then I know people who have been in those like nuns and so forth, and then came out,
Yeah.
and I got married and had families, and you know what I mean. So I think I think it depends on individuals. I honestly,
I think about.
I think
like
you should
the-
stay single as long as you can though, to
Yeah.
really get to know yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think of the dynamics between the birth rates. Like, you know, if in a natural environment, while everything else being equal, there's the same amount of men being birthed as women, or girls versus boys. And so, you know what I'm saying? So even from the onset of nature, that duality exists.
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah,
So-
I'm not. I agree with what you're saying. I just also think that sometimes there are exceptions. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the last thing I had for communication was also lack of transparency,
Mhm.
and then also distrust, like fear of being vulnerable. You know, around each other, and that
Oh,
affects,
yes.
yeah, that affects communication as well, because I can't really see you for who you are.
How do you get out of that space though?
I think it takes time. I think in it taking time, you kind of have to. I think the more you open up and you show that person like it's a safe space, I think that person begins to open up. Like you can't expect to be closed off
Yeah.
and expect someone to. You ever had a friend who she minds everybody's business but never tells hers? But she's always trying to know your business.
Yes.
But she never. What happens eventually? You stop telling her your business, don't you? Be like,
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about you.
Yeah.
You know everything about me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, because it becomes like, I don't know if I could trust that. Because
Right.
I'm sharing, but you are not.
It's one side.
Yeah, it's one-sided, right. So that's what I mean when I say that. Go
I
ahead.
think those dynamics come into play when we don't give each other time enough to get to know one another.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think
agree.
the courting process is
Ugh.
not. We,
Been there.
We move so fast. You know what I'm saying? We move so fast from hi, how you doing? What's your name?
There are consequences to that.
Yeah.
There are things that you could have dealt with on the front end had you taken your time that you are going to have to deal with on the back. You know,
And
it's
it gets
go-
messy.
and it's messy
you
because
get-
there are a lot of emotions involved. There's that sexual glue, the intimacy that's being sexually intimate with someone brings on. All of that now is involved.
Yeah.
Right? And so to now sort through the mess, it's a lot of emotions.
And then we bring children
Yes.
into all that,
Agreed.
you know,
Yep.
really fast. And then, you know, we get all
Yeah.
upset. And then here we are with somebody we really don't even know. And, you know what I'm saying? And we're looking for them to be somebody who they're not. And when they're not, we get mad and upset. So all that plays a role in the friction between us.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that we can, as far as solutions are concerned? I know I just have like 3 things listed.
Okay.
But as far as things that we could do to start like working on our relationships and trying to, first of all, is the relationship with yourself.
That's so key.
The relationship with yourself.
You can't
we
do it
have-
without
no,
you go there.
no.
Unless you
And
go there.
we have to accept that when we allow people in our spaces, they are a reflection of us. I don't care how you dress that.
Come on.
A lot of us have a hard time with that.
We do.
We do.
Because we don't reflect on self.
Exactly. And
That's
it's
why
like,
we have a
no,
hard time with
he
it.
was a pig. He was this.
That's
and I'm
why.
like, no. Something in you allowed him entry into your space. We have to take accountability for that, or else we can't grow from
I
it.
agree 100%.
And we're going to keep repeating meeting the same person in a
Over
different body.
and over
So
and
one of
over.
the solutions that I had as far as working out, kind of like bridging that gap and working on a relationship is keep at it. We give up too quickly.
Yes. Yes.
Keep at it.
Yes.
Keep at it. You
Yeah.
know, at first, the communication, it may fall off the first couple of months. It's like, and us women, we be like, I'm so tired. If he gets smart with me one more time, I'm done with him, But you have to understand each other to have patience with each other. Because if like me, for example, this is just me just kind of divulging here. My mom yelled a lot.
Mhm.
So when I get mad, I yell.
Mhm.
that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work, but it's what I resort to because it is what I know.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's something I have to constantly
yeah.
work on. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that's what I'm saying. You have to kind of be able to learn of each other to understand what outcome or why do you do that. Because I think if we could understand each other, we could have a little bit more patience. But sometimes we don't even want to do that. And my last thing was pretty much patience with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
yeah,
patient
yeah.
with each other. We patient with these jobs when they're getting on our nerves every day. But we there celebrating 5 and 6 years, you know. But we can't be patient with each other. And you're talking about raising children and all of that. We can do it.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my three, of course, I ditto all you said, and I would just add that our mouths, just as women, I think that as women, we really need to do a better job at how we choose to express ourselves.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
You know, we do a lot of belittling of our men, and you know, I gotta raise my hand and and say that I'm a work in progress myself. You know what I'm saying? But I find myself more and more catching my actions.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you know I'm cognizant of them, and I wouldn't be cognizant of them if I didn't take the necessary steps to know myself better.
We gotta catch it here.
Yeah.
We gotta catch it here because once you can't get back.
You can't.
You have to
get
catch it here.
back, and
Because
that's
this is where it starts.
And as women, that's one of our most powerful weapons is our tongues, because we just have that ability to you know what I'm saying.
It's a skill.
Yeah, and so but we use it sometimes like knives.
That's the power I'm talking about.
Right, and we don't realize that too much of that will actually cause a man to run.
Yeah.
And we see it as like he leaving, he abandoning the house, he leaving the children. But in some instances, it's just that the men didn't had enough, and they don't know, in their limited abilities and understanding of women, they don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, respond to that in a healthy manner. So it becomes a situation where it's fight or flight. And they like, I'm out of here. I can't take no more.
Yeah.
So I think as women, we should be more respecting of our men.
Yeah.
You know, even when we disagree, even when they're in the wrong, you can express yourself to a man and express your disdain for what he's doing without tearing him down completely.
Right.
It can be done.
Yes.
It can be done.
Yeah.
And I would say the TV love too. I think we caught up.
Ooh, I wish we would had more time. But
The TV love. And we gotta
romance, the TV romance.
We gotta get out of that. We gotta turn them TVs off and stop expecting our relationships to be like, you know, the fantasy land.
Right,
you
the
know?
white horse.
Yeah, and when it don't go that way, or you looking at the outside of your friend's relationship because you ain't in the inside, you looking at it from the outside. And wishing and hoping and dreaming that you had the same scenario.
Hashtag relationship goals.
Yeah. And so we really got to understand that that's really fantasy land.
Yep.
And we got to get out of that and come to reality and realize
Focus on
that
your own reality.
anything worthwhile
Mm-hmm.
is a struggle. Anything worthwhile is a struggle. So like you, if you took more time to work with the individual in the onset, because I say even the beginning phases of the relationship, in my opinion, are the most rocky, because you're getting to know one another. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking past the butterfly stage and the stars in the eye phase. Past that, and right past that, there's some rocky road, because you're getting to know each other. The dust is settling. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the phase that most people run. They don't like silly little things about each other, so they don't want nothing to do with each other no more. But if you can get past that phase, you can begin to smooth out some of the rough feathers. Emotionalism, that's the only other thing I say. I think we have to work on that, and that comes back to knowing yourself.
Discipline too.
Self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? Not, rising up so fast, so hard, and so vicious and filled with vitriol, and learn how to calm yourself down. You know what I'm saying? Calm yourself down so you won't have to go from 0 to 10, and now you're in a situation that you wish you weren't in. You know what I'm saying?
And you said things you can't take back.
You can't take back when you control your emotions. Nobody else. So that's what I have. Family. Oh my gosh, we have run out of time. We got to do a part 2 of this.
Yes.
We definitely do.
Yes, we can continue next week.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you. Okay, next week we coming back with part 2.
Yes.
Fellas, if you want to see if we get a brother to
Yeah,
come
we
join
can
us,
bring a brother to join us next week. That's what we're going to work on.
let us know. If you're out there and you're in the DMV area, you see what we're talking about, and you want to come join the discussion, give us a call. Give us a call. All right, family. Until next week, take care of each other out there. Peace.